Hello, I'm Mike Levin of MikeLevinSEO.com, and it's Wednesday, August 6th, and I'm out walking my dog. And as you can see, if you're following along, I've reversed my decision to open up with some sort of creed like life is short, pick projects you love, and share. Because after having slept on it, I see that's just not me. I think it's just fine to open up with my identity, when it is, where you can find me on the internet, and visually my setting here. You know, which Mike Levin am I? Well, I'm the one who lives, you know, here in the hustle and bustle of Manhattan. And I spent a little bit of time yesterday looking at the YouTubers who are all about driving up views, and now that YouTube changed their algorithm of recommending videos based on views to view time or duration spent, how the people who record themselves playing video games are the big winners out of the YouTube charts, which is a thing, I guess, like the music charts. Some ridiculous number of them are just people who are recording their video gaming. And it's because of a bunch of stuff, not the least of which they're on average longer videos than people who actually put a lot of production value and do edits and create cute flash animations, and combined with the willingness of their target audience to sit and watch through a whole friggin' game. And that makes top YouTubers, you know, these, I can't even remember their names, like PewDiePie, and people who, you know, just play games and also perhaps have an international flair, so that the auto recommend in the YouTube system goes beyond the local system. YouTube recommends videos by people who are near you. And I guess being in the New York bubble, I sort of, you know, kind of miss that, because New York is so much of what's part of media that's out there, that when there's a New York skew, New Yorkers hardly even notice it. Well, let's see. Another reason I don't want to open with some sort of creed is, you know, it sets a tone, which is fine, but these tones are set, like, I'm starting to see what my channels are. Currently I'm shoving it all onto one channel, and I have distinct different texture videos developing, flavors or flares. And you know, these morning walks are one of them. And you may have noticed, even though I try and be you know, a continuous shoot person, a one-take person, I will occasionally pause this during the morning dog walk, because, well, my dog does his business. And so before I cut away, I was talking about channels and texture and breaking things out in YouTube. And I probably, now this is quite beautiful. There is a black squirrel on that tree. These black squirrels that are only in Manhattan, and a hawk flying around, and they're sort of like eyeing each other. It's just one of these interesting, wonderful moments that you would not think is accessible to you in the big city, but here it is. Texture. The texture of these morning videos is quite different than my whiteboarding and my drawing on the full screen of the phone, which I do when I'm not near a whiteboard and want to capture those same sorts of thoughts. So even though I'm not opening my videos with my creed, I am resolving how to do the things that you have to do on a day-to-day basis, which are not necessarily the things you love, into things you love. Well, hopefully they are somehow connected and related to it, and you need to extend the love from sort of a central core that you feel out to the next level, and you do that by taking ownership, by internalizing, making you feel like you're doing it for yourself. And a wonderful way to do that is to kind of make it so that you can show off or teach what it is you're doing, so that you can, well, it's that sharing piece. Sharing somehow makes things instantly more worthwhile and love-worthy, and makes you put your pride into it more. And this hawk has just nerves of steel. Take a look at him. Can you see him there? Sitting in front of the bench. The hawk is right there. Just sitting, looking. Yeah, my dog. Okay, he's up in the tree. So anyway, I'm heading back. Drop off the dog, go to the office, and extend out the love that I feel for my core central work that I'm doing with technology. And as you can see, even the in-camera editing as I go isn't always enough. So I must have hit the stop button by accident, so I figured I'd just wind up for a sense of closure here when I got to the office and show you just really quickly what's going on with me here in YouTube. So as you can see up there with my YouTube analytics going back 2 years, 11, 12, no, 3 years, you can see me just sort of venturing out into YouTube around here, get a little bit of interest, and then I published my first Raspberry Pi unboxing video, I guess around here, June of 2012. Wow, so much interest. And then that's gradually been dropping off. And now I just decided to go independent with SEO and rekindle a lot of that interest in the Raspberry Pi. You can imagine if I kept the tension in the machinery back here and transitioned all these viewers into followers, leading into one Raspberry Pi project after another, what my online viewership and audience could be today. But I'm here to tell you, it's never too late. I am who I am, and the Raspberry Pi was not a once-in-a-lifetime incident, nor is the desire of all the people in the Raspberry Pi target audience to better themselves, to embrace it, to do interesting things, and not just the Pi, but everything it stands for, which splits into two really, because there's the graphics people and the people who want to use it as almost like an alternative to a desktop, and they'll be taking advantage of the fairly powerful built-in GPU or graphics processor unit that the Raspberry Pi Foundation people felt they needed to add as a last-minute thing. And it was a really good idea because it broadens their audience spectacularly. You don't have to suspend your disbelief as to getting value out of this thing as you would have in its original conception as a non-graphical device. And there's a few of those out there too, which have never really reached the critical mass of the Pi. They made a really good decision to put that Broadcom GPU in there. But then there's the other direction, which is people who want to better themselves in this very old school way that I always talk about. And the Raspberry Pi is sort of like a wolf in sheep's clothing for them. It opens the door by being this very familiar thing that follows the model of a desktop or a mobile phone, and then lets you treat it as a server and do things in a way that gives you extraordinarily long-lived technical capabilities and know-how. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Thanks for listening, and please share this video, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.